Today I'm going over the predictions that will have an effect on the genetic code of every animal and human if Noah's flood was true. With a limited number of mates comes from certain genetic consequences. A genetic bottleneck is caused when 50% or more of the population dies or is separated from the gene pool. As a result, the genetic diversity, e.g., has fewer numbers of alleles for the same gene, also higher risks of having homogeneous alleles. This means that you will ultimately have a lot of the population looking alike for obvious reasons. So does the animal or human population have traits that suggest a bottleneck 4,000 years ago? Nope, very few animals show any type of genetic bottle type. Bottlenecking slows down speciation because of the loss of genetic material. So if there's a cat family which you would have few cat species, but there's at least 37 different big cat species. So if you go from 2 big cats in Noah's Ark 4,000 years ago to 37 different species of cat today, with some of the species showing little diversity like the cheetah and some showing great diversity like the South American puma, taking into account of the rate of the mutation at a very steady rate, the cats come from the same ancestor 10 million years ago, which is a lot farther than the suggested human chimp ancestry. This causes logical absurdities for the creationists. They either have to suggest that the mutation rate was increased by several orders of magnitude, which is good for any animal, or suggest Noah's Ark took on 2 lions, 2 leopards, 2 pumas, etc., but the genetic evidence would still not support their latter position. To even support the former would support a kind of hyper-evolution, where the rate of speciation would be much faster than most punctuated equilibriist supporters would think would be possible in a short amount of time. This poses a contradiction in the creation model. Humans and chimps don't share the common ancestor, but big cats which have a greater genetic differences than the human-chimp relation. Then there are some problems that come with inbreeding. A reduced fertility both in the size and sperm viability, an increase in genetic disorders, fluctuation in facial asymmetry, a lower birth rate, higher infant mortality, slower growth rate, smaller adult size, loss of immune function, increase of extinction from infectious diseases, and an increase of extinction from environmental changes. So humans and animals had to share these problems from being inbred if it was true. But for whatever reason, they, the creationists, try to say that inbreeding was different back then. However, this was put forth without evidence, and will be dismissed without evidence. Now let's take a look at the migration data. Migration can be tracked by artifacts and by DNA. The primary effect is the founder effect, which is similar to the bottleneck effect, except it is due to geographic isolation instead of loss of population. If the founding population has a mutation, and then there is another population which splits, and that population develops a mutation, and this goes on, then one can track the migration path. This is both done through the use of mitochondrial DNA and the Y chromosome. In March 2006, National Geographic did a piece called The Greatest Journey. That piece tracked the progress of human migration through the Y chromosome and artifacts. What was found that all non-Africans shared the M168 marker, all Eurasians shared the M9, all Americans shared the M3. This gives a picture like this. Now what humans, origin, body, mind, culture, and peoples by the Smithsonian Institution shows through mitochondrial DNA is no different. It independently confirms through a different line of evidence of what National Geographic already shows. The same migration path. So again, the Bible shows to be untrustworthy of any truth in the matters of human origin. Our ancestors came from Africa, not the Middle East.